honored and delighted to be here. I'd like to talk about a question that's sure to be on a lot of people's minds. Given our slow growth economy, high unemployment, an intensely competitive job market, what does it take to succeed in America today? When I was growing up, my dad said, "Jim, cream rises to the top. If you're smart, work hard," and he always said, "keep your nose clean." He said, "You'll be successful and have a good life." Well, I took my dad's advice, and things worked out pretty well. But it's a different world, I think, today. What's changed is that these days, young people can do everything right. Earn good grades, work hard, go to college, maybe even get a graduate degree, and still find themselves stuck in a minimum wage job, if they can find any job at all. A college degree was once a ticket to the good life. That's simply not true anymore. And how about the millions of kids who can't afford college or vocational training, or those who drop out without even finishing high school? If recent college grads can't get a decent job, what kind of prospects are there for young people who don't even get that far? So my question is there a secret to success? Not just in a career, but in life. Based on the work my foundation and our partners have been doing, I believe there is. It starts with self-discovery. You have to know who you are, what true success means to you. But self-awareness is not enough. To be successful in these highly competitive times, it takes something special. You've got to stand apart. And frankly, I don't think you can rely on brain power and academic credentials alone. In my opinion, they'll only take you so far. If you want to stand out from the crowd, I believe that two more things are essential. The first is integrity. This is why I wrote my book, Cowboy Ethics. In just a few moments, this amazing teacher from Cherry Creek, Ann Moore, is going to tell you how we took this code of the West that had never been written down and turned it into a new approach to character education, one that's really driven by the idea that we can inspire kids and engage them as opposed to speaking down to them, if you will, and telling them what to believe. I want to focus on that second thing that every young child must have in order to be successful. The critical factor that schools miss with their emphasis on test scores and cognitive skills. Beyond integrity, you've got to have that blend of grit, guts, and heart that cowboys call try, T-R-Y. Now, to most of us, try is a verb. It means to make an attempt. In the cowboy culture, try is a noun imbued with profound implications. If a cowboy says about another cowboy, "He's got try," it means that cowboy gives a task or challenge every ounce of effort he can muster. And if you ever hear a cowboy say about another cowboy, "He's got the try," that's the highest praise a cowboy can ever give another cowboy. It's signifying someone who gives 110% to whatever task is at hand and never, ever quits. To me, the try comes down to three things. The passion that drives you to pursue your goal or dream relentlessly. Attitude a positive, can-do spirit that's fueled by believing in yourself, coupled with the recognition that you, and only you, are the author of your own life story. An effort, having the will to stay focused on your goal and giving it every ounce of effort from the bottom of your guts every single day. And yes, I do believe that effort can trump ability. When you think about it, these three things, passion, attitude, and effort, may be the only three things in life that any of us can control. Yet, like a lot of other important things in life, you can't measure try. How do you measure love? How do you measure honor? How do you measure loyalty? In the same vein, you can't attach a number to determination. This is one more reason, I think, why standardized tests can't really tell you what the true potential of a student is. Ask any seasoned entrepreneur, and they'll tell you about the power of try. They know that success comes from believing in yourself, having very clear goals, and pursuing them with everything you've got. I believe that's a message that every young person in America needs to hear. And don't we want every child to have a fair shot at reaching their full potential? So our goal is to inspire young people to counteract the feeling that things are hopeless, that they have no future, and there's nothing worth striving for. Our name for this program is Be Somebody. It's Be Somebody with an explanation point, because it encourages kids to think of themselves as someone of purpose and accomplishment. Maybe for the first time in their lives, we want to ignite that fire in them that says, I'm going to be the very best I can be at whatever I set my sights upon, no matter what it takes. But as we all know, having the desire to succeed isn't enough. From what we've observed in classrooms, many young people have never learned how to set goals. They haven't thought deeply about the big picture. Where do I want to go with my life? What kind of person do I aspire to be? And what do I need to be doing right now, today, to make that happen? So we help kids set personal goals so they can have a vision for their lives beyond high school. We also help them understand the connection between success and hard work. They have to understand that success isn't something that happens to you. You have to make it happen. What started out as one teacher right here in Denver, Colorado, Cherry Creek High School, has turned out to be a model program that's giving ideas, inspiration, and classroom materials to schools, youth groups, colleges, universities across the country. To help kids reach for the best in themselves, we've turned the concept, the idea of try, into a practical method, which we call 7 steps to success. A framework any young person can use to build their own supply of try and make it a driving force in their daily lives. Among the many tools we use is a 35-minute documentary I produced. Now, I'd like to share with you all some brief clips, so if you would. was visiting Ty Murray. If you're not a rodeo fan, you don't know who Ty Murray is. Well, Ty is king of the cowboys. And this is a guy who's a 7-time all-around world champion. He did it with bull riding. And in the interview, I said, Ty, there are a lot of good athletes in your sport. What made you different?
I remember when I was real young, my mom said, Ty, you have an extra supply of try. When I was riding bulls, I couldn't guarantee I was going to stay on. I couldn't guarantee I was going to score high. I couldn't guarantee I was going to win. I couldn't even guarantee that I was going to live. But I could guarantee every single time that I would try harder than any other guy. I could guarantee that. I could guarantee that I was going to try as hard as I could possibly try. It sounds like a cliche, but I felt like I won every time that I knew that I gave it everything I had. And I still feel that way in whatever I'm doing. You know, I feel like if I give it my best effort, if I give it everything I've got from the bottom of my guts, that's all I can do anyway. And if you do that, what else can you expect of yourself? Having the fans and having people that cheer for you and having people that watch you and having the crowd and the energy that you get from the crowd, I love that part, and that part's great. But I don't know that I set out to show the world that I could do it. I set out to show me that I could do it.
After meeting with Ty Murray, I was determined to find others like him. Folks who've gone after that dream with that same fierce determination and drive. And what I discovered was there are people with try everywhere. They're all around us. Ordinary people who had done extraordinary things. They've risen above adversity in challenging circumstances. Some were driven by a dream or moved by a life-changing moment. Others came face to face with poverty, death, or an addiction. Many found their passion a compelling challenge or the opportunity to make a difference. They had setbacks, they had disappointments. You can say any, quote, normal person would have quit. They didn't have quit in them. They all share one thing in common. They all have the try. The good news is you can learn the try. Try is an attitude. That's all this is. It's an attitude that can be learned. And the attitude becomes a habit. And once you get the habit and you start using it, you kind of develop your own supply of try. And you can call on that try when you need it. There are lots of ways of getting there, but there's a practical method that anyone can use to put the try into action. Key steps that guide the way on the path to realizing any goal and any ambition.
I remember when I was young, I used to think, when I get married, when I have my children, when my children grow up, when I retire, it isn't about any of that. The joy of this is what you do every day. When you're driven by that vision, you know where you want to go. What you don't know are all the steps to get there.
So it starts with a dream. Everybody's got a dream. Maybe your dream is to lose weight, to get a job, to keep a job. Maybe it's to start a business.
You want to go back to school because your dream job is XYZ, go back to school. Don't wait until the time comes where you have more time, because life tends to move past us very quickly. If you want to do something, get started. Take baby steps.
If you don't sort of listen to yourself and know who you are and who you want to be in the world, I mean, not only are you missing out, the world's missing out.
You have to make a decision about what it is you want and how badly you want it. You have to have a goal. You can't hit a target that isn't there. And your goal has to be specific. It has to be detailed, and very, very clear.
You've got to have a goal. You've got to believe in yourself achieving it in order to take the risk.
Without goals, you can march up and down the field of life and never score. The statistics show that if you write your goals down, you increase the likelihood that you will achieve them by 90%. And most people don't write them down.
You just can't say someday I want to be successful. What I learned from Ty Murray was very, very short-term goals. As he said, put one step in front of the other, step by step. You don't become an overnight success.
People underestimate their abilities. So for me, it was kind of like, don't worry about what you can't do. Don't worry about, the things that are going against you, the negative things, the things that are lacking. Think about the things that you have going for you.
The timetable sort of forces us to be creative about what do we need to do to be successful. And one of the things that I've learned is the importance of creativity and collaboration. If you can get somebody else involved in helping you succeed, whether it's a mentor or whether it's a support group.
I think a lot of people are afraid to commit and say, this is what I want to achieve. It means you have to tell people what that dream is. Tell people what the goal is. Now you've got some pressure on you.
And everybody has fear. I don't really think there's such thing as somebody that's fearless. Learning how to go at it anyway, that's the part that matters.
Once you make a commitment to something, you are responsible for that and you see it through. This is what I've got to go through, and I'm going to do it.
It's your story. No one else is going to write it for you. You have to write it for yourself. And therefore, you have to take responsibility for the story that you want, for the life that you want for yourself.
We all have our past, and I messed up in a lot of ways. I had a big mouth and a bad attitude, and you would not have wanted me in your class. But once I decided to be somebody different, to do differently, then things began to change for me.
Be a person who believes that if it's to be, it's up to me. The bottom line is, we have to be responsible for the things that happens to us, and it's not circumstances that make us, it's what we do with the circumstances that actually happen to us.
I don't know where people get the idea that things are going to be easier, you're not going to have to work hard, but yeah, you work hard, and things often are harder than you think, and you might mess up, or you might run into obstacles you didn't expect, but it's okay, that's what happens. And so don't get discouraged, just say, good to know.
Everybody knows Babe Ruth had 714 home runs, but they also don't know he struck out 1,330 times. Oliver Goldsmith said, our greatest glory consists not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.
There's nothing so pointless as to suffer without a sense of purpose. It's when you attach a purpose to it, it makes a big difference. Now it's not just suffering, now it's a sacrifice. And the word sacrifice comes from the root word, sacred. So it's a sacred effort. It takes on a sense of meaning.
The try is really about that extra 10%. That 110% is that extra push that you give yourself to overcome whatever is put in front of you. And you'll be surprised what you can achieve.
What differentiates dreamers from doers is action. Having a shared determination, setting a goal, and putting a lot of efforts, 110% into that effort is what will make the difference.
Being willing to try, being willing to sacrifice to get to the finish line in Kona. I knew it was going to be a long day. I knew it was going to be a rough day, a tough day. But to me, it was going to be the greatest day of my life if I could finish this thing. This is going to be everything that I need and my parents need and we need as a family. And when I crossed the finish line, close to midnight, I was out there for 14.5 hours, holding back tears the whole way.
I think what separates the wannabes and the ones that actually do it, it's actions, not words. It's easy to talk about what you're going to do. It's much more difficult to make it happen. I think effort does trump ability.
The one thing I can control that no one else can for me is my attitude. What everyone's looking for is someone with a good attitude. You may lack skill, you may only have a GED, maybe you didn't finish school, doesn't matter how good your attitude.
Chances are you'll be the same person 5 years from today that you are today, with the exception of two things: the people you meet and the books you read. And the person who won't read is truly no better off than the person who can't read.
Having a passion for anything, whatever it is, that's success. And so many people measure success by money. You know, an old timer told me one time, he says, if you can find something you love and figure out how to get paid for it, then you're doing all right. That's pretty true. You know, you might chuckle at that at first, but that's pretty true.
If you dream it, you can do it. That's my message, and I want people to have dreams. If you have the try, anything is possible. There's nothing, there's no goal that you cannot achieve if you've got try.